Lepo pozdravljene, spoštovane gledalke in gledalci v podkastu Vroča tema na spletnem portalu domovina.je. Svet z zanimanjem opazuje dogajanje v Venezueli v Caracasu, potem ko je ameriška administracija strmoglavila diktatorja Nicolasa Madura, ki se trenutno nahaja v New Yorku in ga čaka zaslišanje zaradi obtožb pred newyorškim sodiščem o terorizmu in preprodaji drog. Kako je bilo živeti četrt stoletja pod režimom čavizma dveh diktatorjev, Huga Chaveza in Nicolasa Madura? Številni ljudje, ki so se upirali temu režimu, so namreč končali v zaporu ali pa jih je režim celo pobil. Kako je bilo živeti v času ukradenih volitev? V času, ko skoraj 90% ljudi tam ne more preživeti in si ne more privoščiti osnovne košarice živil, ki zdaj dosega že ceno $500 na mesec, ob tem, ko sami zaslužijo $3 na mesec. O tem se bomo pogovarjali z nekom, ki je Venezuelo zapustil pred 4 leti. S trebuhom za kruhom, za boljšim življenjem je prišel v Slovenijo. Ekonomist, študent ekonomije pravzaprav, Manuel Contreras je naš gost. Manuel, good evening and welcome to our studio.
Dobar dan, hvala lepa.
So after a couple of nights of sleep, how are you feeling about what's happening right now in Venezuela?
First, I haven't slept so much the past days because there is a lot going on actually currently in Venezuela.
Yeah, people are celebrating all over the world now. It must be hard to put into words what Venezuelans are experiencing right now after the fall of dictator.
After we saw those first images of Maduro arriving in the US, ready to face justice for what he did, it's something very gratifying and have us very excited about we are celebrating. You can see in the social media how millions of Venezuelans are happy in the streets after this happened. But the dictatorship is not over yet. This extraction of Maduro is one of the first steps in all this process. This is not end.
Yeah, we'll go through that. But did you believe that it would ever happen? What it happened just like that?
This is such a dream. This is such a dream that millions of Venezuelans that we share together. But to see it finally becoming a reality, that's mind-blowing, like unbelievable.
Because it seemed that many Venezuelans just surrendered their hope, any hope left that it would ever change the regime. It's like it is in power for 26 years now. Hugo Chavez, Nicolasa Madura.
We have fought for this in many scenarios. We went through election process. We've been in the streets protesting. Then Maduro stole the elections, and we fought for the results. But it's always the same, you know. They were still in the power, and it's so hard to keep your hopes after such a long time, like more than 25 years of the same regime.
Can you explain the desperation that Venezuelan people were experiencing after all these years? It was a big desperation. They couldn't change the regime at all.
The act of going to the streets, to going to protest, to go to say that you don't stand for this, that you don't agree what Maduro and their people are doing to our country, it means that your life is in danger, you know, because you go to the protest. Maduro and their people, they don't hesitate to when they repress those protests. They don't care if you are a student, they don't care if you are even underage. People who were in protest, 15 years old guy died going back home from a protest. He got a bullet in his head.
Nearly 9 million people have fled Venezuela. The numbers differ a little bit, but still it's a quarter of the entire nation that fled the country. How did this mass exodus began? When did it all start? It started around 10 years ago, not before that.
It depends. I mean, those millions of people are from the past, let's say, 10 to 13 years, but there are more from before, because just when Chavez started all this, when you see that guy talking on TV, and maybe some people were like they believe what he was saying, which were lies, but some other people felt really afraid.
He was promising like a socialist heaven a long time ago when we talk about Hugo Chavez, right?
Not in the very beginning. He was saying that he sympathized with opening Venezuela to the international market, to cooperate, to bring prosperity. But when he was already in the power, then he started revealing his real face. Mm-hmm. Because Chavez, he was always in contact, and he was learning from the Cuban regime.
Mm-hmm. But when did life truly became unbearable? Was it already under Chavez, or was it still somehow manageable for a while at that time? So did it get worse, much worse under Maduro?
How to destroy a country such as Venezuela, that we never used to be in this situation. We used to be a prosperous country. We were leaders in the region. And to take us down to this horrible situation is a matter of years. Mm-hmm. How they start expropriating, how they start taking a prosperous business, mm-hmm. Taking the control of prosperous industries, and very important to the country. And then when they manage that, they are just thinking on how to take money for them, for their family, and they are not reinvesting. And they are taking, let's say, like, they are managing that, not in a business, but in a political way. Because they expropriate some of the most important business, and they don't give it to some people that are ready to successful manage the industry, but to friends of them. Like, let's say, you are now I am Chavez, and now because you are my brother, now you will be the leader of the electric industry in Venezuela. Do you think that's right?
Well, that's something what happened during the communist regime in Yugoslavia. So we can probably, our older viewers can understand this. But despite the fact that Venezuelan economy was getting worse, superinflation all the time, it still seems that Hugo Chavez was popular and almost until his death, but Nicolasa Madura was never popular. What's the difference between those two guys?
First, Chavez, I mean, every leader of this type are very popular. They gain the support of the mass, but it's from lies. They are promising so many things that at the end of the day are lies, you know. You can listen to them, how they say like being rich is bad, is wrong. And then you see how their family are traveling in private jets that they own. They are having a life that there is no any Venezuelan that could live. And then you don't see like, you can truly distinguish that this is a lie. It's not true.
Yeah, but Hugo Chavez won the elections in 1998 with his ideas, but Maduro never really won the elections by himself. He was like chosen for his successor. Hugo Chavez chose Maduro to be his successor.
Yeah, the popularity of Maduro have been always at its lowest because he's like not prepared to run even a bus. I think if he goes back to drive a bus, he will crash probably because he's such an incompetent person.
So that's my question, because Hugo Chavez was in military for years, but Nicolasa Madura was just a bus driver. How would a bus driver become a president?
They made Venezuela a land where you can be the next president, where anything can come true if you are loyal enough with the regime. You can earn such rewards. Yeah, Chavez named Maduro his successor, and they made everything like possible to keep it like that. But they control the whole electoral system.
26 years of Chavismo. Many young people don't even remember life before this. You don't remember it because you're 25 years old. Yeah. But what were you told about your country before Chavismo?
I have heard stories of my family of how you can be in a prosperous country as Venezuela, where if you work, you can afford to buy an apartment, you can afford vacations with your family. And we Venezuelans, we honestly have knows how to have fun with family. We have very big gatherings with all our family. Our families are 30 members, and now we will all meet in a house, and we will have a very great time. But now that's not the reality, since a lot of people flew the country, they left the country, and now our family gatherings are more and more empty. Now, before you have 30 family members, and now we have 5, because your brother now left the country, your mom is working in another country, somebody escaped,
So your parents told you about Venezuela being a functioning democracy a long time ago.
Yeah, but they don't even need to tell me, because it's the reality. Like they took advantage of a prosperous country as Venezuela to have a great life. So they don't have to tell me, because I can see it.
Everyone says Chavez and Maduro sank the country, and they did. But let's be honest, Venezuelans' problems didn't start with them. Inflation was high, poverty was close to 50%. Some sources say even 70% in the middle of the 90s. And the crisis had been building since the late 80s. After oil prices collapsed and the country relied almost entirely on oil exports and heavy borrowing. How important is it to understand that longer background? So Venezuela does have a longer history of problems before Chavismo.
I will be very straight on this answer. In reality, Venezuela didn't know how to manage how prosperous we were with oil. We didn't know how to manage, because imagine you wake up one day and we say we are the most prosperous country in the region. Now let's increment let's say the goods to the people, but you need to first think how to reinvest. How to think about tomorrow, mm-hmm. Because you have prosperity now, but then you are starving tomorrow,
Mm-hmm. I'll have to ask you about an event that happened in 1989. I'm not sure many viewers from Slovenia know about it, but it's very famous in Latin America. It's Caracazo. Does that event still live in the country's collective memory? What did you hear about Caracazo? You were not born then, but there were huge protests against President Perez's austerity policies. More than 5,000 people died. What did that trauma do to Venezuelan society?
Carlos Andrés Pérez, he was trying to apply some adjustments in the Venezuelan economy that people didn't feel right back then, because people were thinking
the prices of public transport went up at that time.
Yeah, we were thinking, how can we keep this lifestyle, but we were not aware that we need some adjustments in the economy in order to think in the future. Mm-hmm. But the most important thing that I can say about this matter is the arrival of Hugo Chavez. Mm-hmm. Where he was some type of he was a phenomenon of the whole situation. He presented himself as such like a hero on the situation, and that's how he earned the support from the people. But also don't forget in what way he tried to take the power, because he attempted to end the previous government in a violent way.
It was in 1992 and he was imprisoned, Hugo Chavez, for that, yeah?
Yeah, because of that. Yeah. But he killed people. That's how his political career started, by killing people, by trying to end a democracy in a military way. But that's how they start.
But why did he still won elections after he came out of prison?
Because as I said, he also was a populist. This type of leaders, they are populist and they earn the support of the people. But not because they deserve, because they will tell you exactly what you want to listen in those cases. He was a phenomenon of the whole Venezuelan atmosphere back then.
But do you somehow find Paris government of the early 90s guilty for the rise of Hugo Chavez because of Caracas, when the police and military, they suppressed and killed 5,000 people who were protesting?
Even when I have a clear position about this, I was not born. I was not even born back then, so I prefer to talk more about what I have suffered.
Sure, and that's my next question. What was your childhood like? Was it possible to live a normal life back then?
Yes, like I remember when we got there for my birthday, when Christmas, we just have a joy around, family to see. You play with your cousins. We prepare food gatherings, and but with the pass of the years, then your aunt left the country.
Every year was worse.
Every year was worse. That now our gatherings are like extremely sad.
So your parents still had normal job back then when you were a kid?
Yeah. Because if you have a job, if you work, you can expect to have a great life in Venezuela.
But what about the payment? Was still good back then?
Yeah, sure. But every time it's less and less.
You're from Mérida. It's part in the mountainous part of the country. It's like in the Andes Mountains of Venezuela, right?
Yeah.
Do you know that many Slovenians live in Mérida?
Yeah, maybe not many, maybe because they are spread around the world, and it's also not like a big community as Slovenians in Argentina, but they are in my country.
What do you remember the most of your hometown?
My hometown, the university is very important. It's key in my city. It's like a university, city.
A big university in Mérida.
Yeah. Or a big Mérida in a university.
And you studied their economy.
Yeah.
But what do you remember still about your town? How was it to live in Mérida? Do you miss Mérida?
Okay, I can share some anecdotes. Like, to study in my university is your biggest dream if you are from Mérida. But unfortunately, my experience there was not the same as my family had before, where you can enjoy from a great experience of being a student in Mérida, because they enjoy from a big infrastructure of the transportation of the whole student life. It was amazing. It was some of the best parts of your life, or of your young life. But the reality that I had to live is how the infrastructure all the time was going down. Because we don't get resources from the government, because they are not interested in investing in the education in Venezuela, the academy. Because actually the academy in Venezuela is probably the biggest enemy of Maduro, because that's the place where people can learn and can learn how to think by themselves, can distinguish what's wrong, what's right. That's the biggest menace for any regime that would like to take the power and to lie to the people.
And you say that the teachers at the university, they do not earn money at all now, these days.
Yeah, they could earn maybe €3 a month, or maybe that's too much, maybe less. And they have to live like that, and they go to teach every day just for vocation, just for the sake of being a professor and do an apport to the country, because it's very important to prepare the Venezuelans of tomorrow, the people who will work in the country. But my experience is actually very sad in school, because we go to a school that should receive maybe 30,000 of students, to have 30,000 of students every year, but it was that amount was very little at the end when I finished studying there. It was so much less, and we go to the school, which rooms probably were empty because we didn't have students. In some cases, I was the only student in the room, or I share with other 3 students a whole room for 40 people. We were only 3. Mm-hmm. And even the situation was that was bad, that we need to collect money among the students to buy bulbs, electric bulbs, or to buy markers to the board because there is no budget for it.
So you think professors, they insist and they still teach because they believe that someday the government will change and Venezuela will need young students who can take power and lead country to a better future?
If we are not educated enough, we are easy to control.
Sure. Despite the facts that you just told to me, are you missing Mérida? Do you miss Venezuela?
Right now, what I wish is to see Venezuela free again. I wanna that we restore democracy, but right now I'm just trying to think how to enjoy a life in Slovenia, because this fortunately become like my current home, which this is a safe country. It's there are many things to feel happy about Slovenia.
But people who have been to Venezuela, even from Slovenia, and I know a couple of them, they all say it's such a beautiful and vast country, arguably one of the most beautiful places on earth.
Yeah.
It must be heartbreaking to see what happened there.
Yeah, of course. Like, if you search on Google Venezuelan seaside, you will see some of the most beautiful places on there, as you say. Yeah. So it's very disappointed to see the
from the beaches to the mountains to Canaima part, Angel Falls, like so famous place.
Yeah, you could have the best vacations ever there, and with very nice people.
Can you take us back to the moment that you decided, that's it, I need to leave Mérida, I need to leave Venezuela? What was that main factor that you decided, I'm done?
We have experienced so many moments of ups and downs, but when I start to doing politics, when I start to say, you know what, I am against the government, but I want to do something for it, we experience a lot of ups and downs, and all the time thinking like we really want to, we are seeking freedom, but in some moments, if you are doing politics in Venezuela, you have to know that something bad will happen to you for sure.
Were you doing politics in Venezuela?
Yeah, mostly like in university, because it's very important to my city, and also I was supporting Maria Corina since the beginning.
So the opposition, yeah. But what tipped you over the edge and that you decided, I'm leaving tomorrow?
Because of the consequences of thinking different and to standing against the government. Even once my father called me and he said, Manuel, I am proud of you, but probably you will go to prison one day, and if that happens, I will be proud of you. I will. That's something that will happen, and I will be happy for you because you are standing against Maduro.
Mm-hmm. So you decided to leave the country?
Yeah, momentarily, because I still support the Venezuelan opposition from a harder place, because I'm not there.
Did you leave Venezuela or did you had to escape?
Yeah, I have to escape because I have to escape. I have to find a safe place for me.
So you had to plan everything. How will you escape the country?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it tough to plan everything?
Living in Venezuela is such a very it's very difficult, you know, because also about the resources. We were just talking about how much a professor in the university earns. So how to leave the country is very... so a lot of people wish to leave Venezuela and they cannot because they cannot afford it.
But you said that the payment, the salary was €3 per month for a professor at university. And my question is, how can they survive if the food costs like 500 per month?
There are some people that maybe have, as we say, like our family are just around the world, and some of them have family that could send some...
they can send them money.
Yeah, but no, but it's not much because people are working, people need money, even when you are in a country that's not yours. You even need...
But what about those people who do not have relatives abroad?
The reality is that there are millions of Venezuelans that are suffering a lot. People that are eating from the garbage. They have to find food in the garbage.
That's what's happening in Caracas, especially.
And there are some people that they are living in such a bad situation that they only find their escape by killing themselves. Even in my city, there was in some moments in 2025 that maybe for 2 months or something, every time I open my phone to check the local news in my city, only my city, I found out that somebody killed himself.
But tell me about the contrast. You said some people are eating from the garbage, but there is a contrast also.
Yeah, you can also find people who those are the little amount of Maduro supporters, because Maduro supporters they are just a few, and are people who have an interest with them and have a totally different life. Okay. They are living in a bubble, you know. So you have this contrast where you can see a person eating from the garbage and a Ferrari hanging around.
Driving next to him.
Yeah,
on the street. So Venezuela borders Brazil and Guyana through jungle terrain. So for many people, the only realistic escape route was through Colombia. You choose Colombia to escape.
Yeah, because the border was closed back then. And I have to manage to get to Colombia before I came here.
So is the Colombia the only exit country for Venezuelans right now?
Some people leave from Venezuela, some people decide to cross the border, yeah.
But is there any other option to leave Venezuela but through Colombia?
Leaving Venezuela is such a hard task also because how dangerous it is. Because when you are traveling out of Venezuela, you can maybe encounter mafia in your way, or you can find other danger because a lot of people who try to get to the US, they have to cross the
Darien belt, yeah.
And
it's a part of the jungle. We have to say this for our viewers to understand. It's part of the jungle that is in Panama on the border with Colombia, and it's the only part of the world when this intercontinental highway just stops, you know, because there is no connection, there are no routes, there is no civilization. So people still go through that part of the world.
And besides civilization, there is like the law of the jungle. Like a lot of things can happen there, and those people who do atrocious things to these travelers, they never face justice. Yeah. And a lot of people even get raped.
Yeah, but there are some islands just in front of the Venezuelan coast. There is Trinidad and Tobago. There is Aruba, Curacao, in the Dutch crown. Why people don't try to cross into these countries with a boat or something?
Okay, as you mentioned, some people try to get to Trinidad and Tobago by some improvised boats, and they die. They don't even manage to arrive in Trinidad and Tobago, and they die in the way, you know.
So it happens to them what it happened to migrants from Africa when they try to cross Mediterranean.
Yeah, leaving Venezuela on those like to Trinidad and Tobago or to Darien In that cases, it means that probably not all your group will manage to finish that journey.
To survive.
Maybe you live with your wife and your kid, and probably you are the only one who will manage to arrive. Probably you lose your wife and your kid in the river, in the jungle.
But what was your plan? To cross the border into Colombia, and then what?
Yeah, then fly from Colombia to here.
To Slovenia.
Yeah.
Okay. You already explained some obstacles that you faced during your attempt to leave Venezuela. You were talking about mafia. Let's talk about those narco cartels. Are they real in Venezuela? Are they something similar to Mexican cartels? So how major obstacle they are for Venezuelan people who are trying to escape?
The Venezuelan border to Colombia is such a very dangerous place. You can see mafia working there. You can see a lot of people with big weapons, and that's the reality.
And if you do confront them, what happens?
No, you don't confront them.
No, I mean, when you face them, what do they want from you? Can they leave you to go through the border, or do you have to pay them something? I don't know.
Yeah, you need to leave money in points of control in order to cross. Yeah.
Points of control.
Yeah.
Tell me about these points. What are these points?
Okay. In that journey to cross Colombia and Venezuelan border, there are a lot of point of control of some criminal organizations.
So it's the same thing like in Mexico.
There. Yeah, let's say yes. But in this case, you can clearly see how they work with the government.
Mm-hmm. So are they connected to government or not?
Yeah, they are, because they freely work there. They have deals to do it.
And when you cross this point, do they ask you, where are you going? What was your experience with these points?
We have to hide our plane tickets. We have to trash any bill that we have that of something that maybe you buy. You have to turn off your phone. And in my case, since I am a photographer, I was very afraid of they see my camera. Because if they see my camera, there are two scenarios. They could say like, you are trying to record us, or you are trying to photograph our organization, or that's the very dangerous scenario. And the other scenarios, they could say like, if you want to keep your camera, you have to leave this money. You have to
and what
pay
happened?
more.
What happened to you?
No, in this case, we surpass every point of control.
But you had to pay them some money.
Yeah. Yes, in every.
So you stayed without money when you went into Colombia?
Yeah, we have to leave money in all the way.
All the money you had?
No, not all, but yeah, an important. I mean, yeah, you need to leave money all there.
And when you crossed the border into Colombia, how long did you stay there? Many Venezuelans escaped Venezuela through Colombia, and there are still, I think, more than 2 million people living in Colombia. But you didn't decide to stay in Colombia. Why not?
No, because Colombia is also, they are suffering a lot also with cartels, and they also don't have so many stability, because right now they even have a president who sympathizes with Maduro. Yeah. And how can I go to a country which have friends, my dictator? You cannot trust be in those environments.
So you left Colombia immediately, or did you stay for some time there?
No, I left.
You flew from
the capital,
Bogota to Europe?
Yes.
To Ljubljana?
I mean, I did some flight stops, like because of the airline, like in Turkey or something, and to come here.
Mm-hmm. But
flight stops.
Why did you choose Slovenia?
Because back then I have I decided to leave my country because of escaping from probably a horrible destiny, and decided where to go. I had a girlfriend back then she was born in Venezuela, but she have Slovenian roots, and she moved to Slovenia, and I decided to come.
So she had Slovenian citizenship.
Yeah.
Yeah, but were there any obstacles for you to come and stay in Slovenia? What were the procedure you had to go through?
Yeah, I start by I have international protection here. That's how I stay.
Mm-hmm. How did you get this protection?
Because of my case.
Mm-hmm. But where did you apply for this protection?
In police.
Slovenian police?
Yeah.
So when you landed in Slovenia, you just went to a police station? Mm-hmm. And everything was done quickly?
No, it takes a long time because Slovenia is very strict about their migration policy, which is good, I guess. It took a long time.
Mm-hmm. But you were allowed to stay in Slovenia during that time?
Yeah.
So you stayed in the apartment of your girlfriend?
No. We never lived together. I live in my own.
Mm-hmm. And you decided to continue studying economy in Ljubljana? Yeah,
because by the time when I arrived here, I just need maybe one and a half year left in Venezuela. Or I also had the opportunity to study here, and then I was thinking like probably will take somehow the same time to graduate here or to finish my...
Did you have to begin from scratch, from the beginning, or...?
No, from the second year, because here they recognize my some of my subjects in Venezuela, so I didn't start here from scratch. But yeah, also I decided to transfer because the situation of my university in Venezuela, because after COVID hit us, it was so hard to recover. I don't think we truly recover fully.
How was it like for you to just come into a completely new country with a new language, a new culture? Was it difficult for you?
It was such a big challenge because when I started in school, I remember that, okay, I know English, but it's conversational, you know. But you go to school and you have different theories that you need to learn and a lot of like another level, you know. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I started studying, I went to lectures. I didn't understand even like everything that was going on, and sometimes I was sitting down in my hall. Mm-hmm. And my colleagues, they stand up like to make a group or something, and I was like, what's going on? You know, I have to ask, because it was so a big challenge because in Venezuela we are not really that good on English.
But how is it like to live in Slovenia for a guy like you who are from Latin America?
I mean, everybody have their experience, you know, but personally I'm more than grateful of living in a country that you can sleep well. Even my mom told me I started sleeping after years here.
In Slovenia?
Because when you are doing politics in Venezuela, you never know when you are an object of investigation or something, maybe they can break the door of your house to come for you. Mm-hmm. So you don't sleep. You have bad dreams. You are all the time nervous because something could happen to you in any moment.
I have a story with you to share and with our viewers. A Slovenian tourist group, the last one that visited Slovenia, they were there in 2015. That's now almost 11 years ago. While driving through Caracas, through the capital city, their local guide told them to duck down. He turned off the bus lights and said that if gangs saw the lights, they might just set up a roadblock, stop the bus, kill everyone, and steal everything. That was 11 years ago. How was it like in 2025 in Venezuela?
It could be the same. Venezuela is a country that police can randomly stop you in the street, and if they check that you are sharing on WhatsApp group that you are against the government or just sharing some information, you go to prison. It is that dangerous. And I am mentioning this is because the people that can stop you or can do bad to you could be maybe not officials. Because there are a lot of criminals groups operating in Venezuela.
Let's talk about Slovenia. So you're unsure about what's going to happen in your country, in Venezuela, but are you hoping to return as soon as possible, or are you still deciding upon maybe stay in Slovenia permanently?
I am 100% concentrated in the present, in this very moment. I'm not thinking what's going to happen in the future. Right now, I'm just hoping that this process continue with the liberation of Venezuela. That's what I'm hoping.
But what do you like the most about Slovenia?
Because here is a safe country, it's clean, people are kind. I have a lot of Slovenian friends that have been such a nice people to me. Anything
else? Do you like the place?
Yeah.
It's a small country.
I mean, I think nobody will believe me if I say that maybe the weather is nice. I mean, it's snowing today.
Yeah. But you had snow is beautiful. But you had snow in your country.
Yeah, but you have to go 5,000 meters over the sea level to see snow.
Yeah. So the weather is not that nice.
In Venezuela, no, in my city, it's perfect.
What about Slovenia?
It's perfect because on the evening, it's, colder, 15 degrees, or if it's very cold, maybe 10 or something, but still not bad. But during the day, it could be 30 degrees, 28. So honestly, we have perfect weather in my city.
But how do you see then Slovenian weather?
I mean, sometimes it's very Vroča, sometimes very slow. Yeah.
Are you trying to learn the language?
Učím se slovensko.
How difficult it is?
Težko je, zelo. Muy difícil.
Yo te entiendo porque yo hablo un poco de español.
Qué bien.
Pero es difícil.
Okay.
Let's return to current leader of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez. She's now like an interim leader of Venezuela. She was put in charge by Venezuelan High Court, I think. She's part of the Maduro's inner circle, and now she's the new leader. Are you worried that the entire situation will only end with Maduro's removal, and that the regime itself will survive?
I mean, only by extracting Maduro from Venezuela, that's not the end of all this history. We really need we need a change in the Venezuelan democracy, and I trust the process. I trust the process, not the people, because Delcy Rodriguez, Héctor Rodriguez, those are some of the brain.
The brains of this regime?
Yeah.
Tell me more about them. They're responsible for the killings and the kidnappings.
This inner circle are people that have been fighting together for many years, and when they manage to reach the power, they are just changing. It's like to play in these musical chairs, where you sit here, now you are the minister of something. We stop the music, you sit here, and now you are a vice president. That's how they work in their inner circles. It's more about loyalty.
But her first speech was extremely harsh, like demanding that the United States release Maduro immediately. But Trump said she was complying with the White House.
And now they changed their...
Yeah, even today she used more diplomatic language, and she said that she expects cooperation with the United States, despite the United States kidnapping the president.
I hope they go forward with this cooperation in order to a transitional government, because they have been told for months, for such a long time, that this is going to happen. and they resist and they say no, and that's why all this happened, all this situation in this way.
But do you trust Delcy Rodriguez that she can lead this transition? She's from the inner circle of Maduro.
No, I don't have an answer on that question.
Do you trust Delcy Rodriguez?
No, I don't trust.
You don't trust
at all.
That's probably how Venezuelan nation feels right now.
I trust Maria Corina Machado and Edmundo Gonzalez, and if they are part of all this transitional government, I trust all this.
Do you think that Maduro was betrayed by people from his own circle?
Okay, here's the thing. When we talk about like hypothetical intervention in Venezuela, we were thinking like what's going to happen, how long it's going to take. Mm-hmm. Because will we have like a big war or something? Mm-hmm. And what I was thinking that who is going to fight for Maduro? Who is going to fight for those people? Because everyone is aware of this horrendous situation, or all this deep crisis, all this violation of human rights in Venezuela. Everyone is aware of that, even the people who support Maduro. And these people who support Maduro, they are only incentivized by resources, by something in exchange, you know. And when the moment comes, when all this operation starts, who is going to fight for him? Do you think somebody will say, I will die for Maduro? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. But the United States put a price tag on his head. The amount was $15 million. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I hope somebody's celebrating right now.
Are the United States really interested mainly in Venezuelan oil reserves?
That's one of the most important topics, something that a lot of people are talking in social media, you know. But I'm telling you something, there are countries that are stealing our oil. We have been financing the Cuban regime for many years. The Cuban regime is still existing is because of Venezuelan oil, Venezuelan resources. And also China and Russia, they are stealing our oil already for many years. Plus the corrupted politicians, they are all eating from that. Mm-hmm. They are already stealing our resources.
But still, Donald Trump doesn't hide it. He openly says that Americans built Venezuelan oil industry and that the Chavistas then expelled Americans and nationalized the infrastructure. How do you see that?
I just hope that we find democracy and we find a deal.
Mm-hmm. But do you think that
to change?
Do you think that anti-American sentiment is justified?
It depends. Like, where are you coming from? I'm talking. I am a Venezuelan, and I have my Venezuelan interest, and I support all this.
Mm-hmm. How do you explain the contrast we're seeing right now? Protests against Maduro's removal mainly from the left-wing governments around the world, and left-wing protesters in some United States cities. I think I saw one in Madrid, Spain, while Venezuelans across the world are dancing, celebrating. It's a big contrast.
The answer is already there. If you want to check out if Venezuelans we support or we don't support all this, just check in social media how people are celebrating in the streets. We are all celebrating together. Millions of Venezuelans are screaming happiness.
And you have probably seen the scenes from Buenos Aires, people dancing at the Plaza Independencia. I think it was the largest crowd of Venezuelans abroad. So they are now all around the Latin America.
It's it's funny because the people who are complaining the most are not Venezuelans or people who live in Venezuela. Those are the ones just talking, and we are celebrating. I'm Venezuelan, and last night I had a champagne with my mom and with my stepdad.
When you watch those images of your people celebrating, what goes through your mind? Is it emotional for you?
Yeah, very. I mean, we feel that we want to celebrate right now, but this is just one of the early steps on all this transition to Venezuelan democracy.
Critics of President Trump, they say this was an attack on a sovereign country, that it's violated international law. They also say, yes, Venezuelans, they do suffer, but this is not the way. This is not the way to address it. How do you respond to these accusations?
The real violation of laws when Maduro decided to steal the elections and to not recognize why the people vote against him. That was the real violation of laws.
Mm-hmm. There is no doubt that Maduro decided to steal the election.
Yeah, there is no doubt because they don't have proofs, and we do. We have the ads, we record the votes, and we won by a huge margin, and they don't have ads.
Mm-hmm. There are some doubtful minds that these are American think tanks who have an opinion about Venezuelan elections.
No, I'm just thinking by myself. I'm thinking from the perspective of a person who have suffered all the consequences, all the atrocious things that Chavez and Maduro have done to me, to my family, and to my country in general. I'm talking from there.
Why, in your view, have protests not led to a break in power, not to a revolution, a coup, or the end of Maduro's regime? Venezuelans have protested so many times, including 3 major waves after every elections, but nothing happened.
The Maduro's regime, they create a whole system of fear. They want the people to feel afraid of thinking different or protest, because when Venezuelan protest, Maduro and his people, they don't hesitate to shoot students, to shoot underage people, to do whatever in order to stay in the power. And it's not only there, like it doesn't stops there, but also the persecution. Because after the protest, these officers, they identify who was present there, and then they start even operations like Tun Tun. It means knock knock. This operation Tun Tun, it's they persecute those people who participate in those protests, and they take them to jail.
So
even there is a case that just
they knock on their doors and take them.
Yeah, they take them, and only God knows what happened with them. Like some people get punched or killed, or even there is a 17 years old guy who was sentenced to 10 years of prison.
American media are reporting that there are radical left militant groups parading the streets of Caracas right now. What's the name of these groups?
Those groups are called colectivos. These are mercenary groups that are not officials, but they work for Maduro and their people. Those are people who have resources, have weapons, and it's like let's say a large group that are ready to take the call when Maduro needs to do the dirty job.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe, after all these years and after everything you just explained to us, was there any other way to bring down Maduro's style of rule other than what Trump did?
We have tried everything. We went to elections, we went to protest, we went to elections again. They didn't recognize the will of the Venezuelan people. We went to protest again, and this is the last stance. Like this was the only option left.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think about the European countries who are monitoring the situation and claiming that the international law must be respected?
That's a matter of every country, but I'm just supporting my perspective as a Venezuelan.
Trump said very clearly that at this moment he doesn't trust the Venezuelan opposition or the Nobel Prize winner, Corina Machado, to take power in Venezuela. How did you understand these words? Trump said that United States are going to run Venezuela and that the opposition right now just do not possess capabilities to take over and suppress the regime.
we need to understand something first. Like when you take Maduro out, everything is not, the work is not finished, you know, because you still have people resisting there. Some armies or the inner circle of Maduro, they are still resisting. You also have the criminal organizations. You have many different groups. It's not like once you take out Maduro, it's over.
So the thing cannot collapse from inside because of Maduro's...
Yeah, it will take some time, and there will be a government of transition, because we need the stability right now. Venezuela just lost the dictator. Now we need the stability.
You said several times in recent days that many of your friends and even family members have been abducted or imprisoned. How did Maduro's system of intimidation work in Venezuela? And what is happening with those people right now? Do you have any information about them?
That's the thing, like, I don't think even their family have their full information of what's going on with them, because my closest friends in politics in Venezuela, some of them are currently in prison, and some of them are persecuted. They are persecuted. As I said, they create an atmosphere of fear to everyone who is going to try something against Maduro, because they have even a center of torture. After the past elections, around 2,000 people were illegally taken from, and now some of them are even in this center of torture.
Center of torture, what is it?
There is a place called El Helicoide, and it's the biggest center of torture in all Latin America. It's such a big place where they illegally have a lot of political prisoners, and they torture them.
How do they torture them?
They put them in the darkness. They even shock them with electricity. They cover their faces. They even rape them. They do anything possible in order to take your humanity, you know. It's to destroy yourself, to destroy you as a person. That's what they do.
How do you know this place exists?
It's very well known in Venezuela. All the Venezuelans knows how this torture system works.
So the news spread from mouth to mouth.
Yeah, of course, it's very well known. And here is the thing: these people are totally cynics. These people from Maduro's government, they are psychopaths. Because even in this helicoide, they put a lot of Christmas lights, and they even fire fireworks for Christmas. And that's, imagine, the biggest center of torture, with a lot of people are losing their lives, a lot of people are suffering, and now they are like making a party out of there. That's a huge slap to Venezuelans. It's that's a way from them to tell us, look, we don't care. We will do anything we are capable of anything to make you hopeless.
Since Maduro's fall, have you been in contact with anyone in the ground in Venezuela? Are they afraid to go to the streets right now?
Yeah, it is the same. It's the same as we already mentioned in all this interview. You are always on risk. Because colectivos are out in the street because of this operation of persecution. Because
many people are wondering, why are people not going to the streets protesting now against Delcy Rodriguez, against this regime that is still left in power, demanding new elections?
We just need to follow what our leaders from opposition are saying.
What are they saying?
They instruct us that things are going well about all this transition, and we just need to listen to the Venezuelans who are there in Venezuela.
And yet the media outlets that are criticizing Trump's move are also showing the tearful faces of people in Venezuela who say they want Maduro back. Who are the people after all these years still support Maduro's regime?
Okay, there are two answers there, because there are they are like movie creators. Sometimes you have behind the scenes videos of how what you see on TV. It's Maduro walking and celebrating with a lot of people, and then you see like a behind the scenes video where Maduro is almost alone. You have 10 people there celebrating, and you have Maduro there. And also a lot of people they belong to different groups that support Maduro in exchange of something. And they tell them, all of you have to be in this mobilization. All of you will take this hat, all of you will take these signs, and all of you will participate on this, and we will make a video and we will put it on social media. And people internationally, they believe that, and they are saying, oh, look, Trump is killing Venezuela, blah, blah, and yeah.
White House have been putting pressure on dictator Nicolasa Madura for months. Since Donald Trump came back into power in the United States, and Maduro's reaction was quite funny. We have seen him dancing and singing to the Imagine song of John Lennon, late Beatle member, and he was even screaming, "Peace, peace, not war."
He's acting in these funny ways. He needs to wash his face, because once this operation happen, what the people who thinks that Maduro is all right, they will share these videos like, oh wow, but he seems to be all right, you know. It's funny, how can he do any bad? But we cannot forget what they did to the Venezuelan population. They have killed a lot.
Do you think he saw what was coming?
I don't know, you know.
Yeah. But he was also screaming and challenging Donald Trump, "Come and get me."
Yeah, everyone is so brave till you have them in. They called you in your pajamas at home, you know, at 1 a.m.
When you saw the picture of Maduro, the first picture, he was sitting on a chair with headphones. He couldn't see anything, and they were then driving him through the streets of New York for other people to see it.
By the way, I really wish to have that Halloween costume in, you know, or for carnivals. But when we saw that picture, it was very hard to believe, you know, because he always make an image of I am untouchable.
But there are critics who say it was not a humane way of dealing with the president of a country, what Americans did.
No, not a human way of dealing with people is what they are doing to us. Because it's not in this atmosphere of fear, they are also priving us from food, from resources. They cut our electricity out. We need to make a very large lineups in order to get gasoline, mm-hmm. And they are trying to control us. They are trying to say like this crisis is from outside, and now we are your savers, and yeah. But they are doing this to control the population, because they need to keep you busy doing something every day. They need you to think, how do I get water today? How do I get food tomorrow? When the electricity is going to come? Will I get gasoline for next week? They need you to think, to keep you busy thinking about that, because then you are not thinking of how to end this government, when this is going to end.
So your nation is enjoying the scenes from New York right now?
Yeah, definitely.
Are you aware that a Slovenian delegation linked to Izquierda, leftist party, including former parliamentarians like Miha Kordiš, that they traveled from Madrid to Caracas for Maduro's inauguration, with the trip reportedly paid by Venezuelan government? And given that background, how do you understand the leftist party current harsh reaction to Maduro's overthrow.
Maybe I suggest them to take longer vacations there. They should stay, enjoying, because Maduro have the same politics, mindset, so they should stay there.
Mm-hmm. Manuel, what happens next? What do you hope for right now?
I hope for Venezuelan freedom.
What about you and your family?
I hope that we can all celebrate together, finally.
But is your whole family with you in Slovenia or not?
No, I'm here only with my mom, and my family are spread.
So your father is still in Venezuela. Are you afraid of some revenge to people who left? Do you think this possibility still exists despite Maduro's fall?
I mean, right now, we still have the same regime in Venezuela, and you cannot expect any bad to you. Like, if you go back to Venezuela, you never know when officers can tell you, hey, you betray your country, now you go to prison, That could happen to you. To innocent people already happened.
But it seems that the regime is already complying with Trump and Rubio. Are you happy about it?
Sorry, can you repeat?
The Venezuelan regime seems to be cooperating with Trump and Rubio right now.
We don't know what's going on in reality, but I just hope the main goal, the ultimate goal.
Maybe one last verse from you. What is your message to all Venezuelans around the world who are fighting for their freedom right now?
Venezuela, vamos a ser libres, vamos a alcanzar la libertad y vamos a celebrar todos juntos.
Manuel, gracias.
A la orden.
Vam pa, spoštovane gledalke, spoštovani gledalci, hvala za vašo pozornost. To je bil podcast Vroča tema. Vidimo se prihodnji teden.